In this demo, we'll show you how to use the iKnow engine, an open source library for natural language processing powered by InterSystems. It's available in Python and can be installed using the pip command using pip install iKnowPy. We'll show you how it works using a simple demo notebook. So first was installing the module, and then we can just instantiate the engine after having imported this package. iKnow is covering just a section of natural language processing because natural language processing is a super broad area. iKnow is all about identifying concepts and their context in natural language text. So what does that mean? It means that we'll be indexing a sentence and then can show you our sort of syntactic parsing of the sentence. So we identify concepts, so all the words that belong together, and then some of their context from the natural language itself, without needing to know the domain or having to be trained on a particular subset of topics. So we identify which words belong together because of their syntactic structure, and then also some of their context, such as negation or certainty or sentiment. To show you some of that, we'll be using Colorama, which is another open source package for highlighting command line output. So we'll be importing Colorama and then create a simple function that indexes text and then walks through the parsing that iKnow builds up in the background and then output the text using the tags in Colorama. So what that looks like in text is here. So as an example here, you can see that iKnow did not just identify the fact that there's the word not in here, but it was able to expand that left and right within the sentence to identify which pieces of a sentence were affected by this semantic attribute, by this negation. To show that in a slightly broader example, we'll just pull some news from an RSS feed and highlight those texts. So here you can see that we're highlighting some of the uncertainty in the text and also some of the negation elements in there. Let's turn to another demonstration, and that's how we can use iKnow to improve feature engineering. So typical feature engineering will use on text will use a somewhat brute force approach by cutting the text up into tokens, so tokenization, and then consider each of those tokens to be an individual feature. That means that we'll be transforming text like this into a vectorization of that, where you have an array with frequency information for every token represented here by an index value. So this is suddenly now purely numeric information that a machine learning algorithm knows what to do with. So what we'll be doing here is we'll be using a very simple pipeline that uses our count vectorizer, so that vectorized version of our text, and then a classifier to try and predict the category of these newsgroup articles. And we'll see that we have a fairly decent precision to begin with. Now, what we'll do now is we'll try and use the iKnow engine to make that a little smarter. So what we'll be doing here is we'll be creating a simple method that strips the negated tokens out of a sentence and only emits the pieces that are not part of a negated part of the sentence. Because of course, you wouldn't want those negated parts to be counted in the same way as the affirmative tokens in our vectorizer. So after doing this little bit of pre-processing, we wrap that in a transformer that fits the scikit-learn transformation interface. And then we use that as part of a new pipeline that will be first stripping the negation, then vectorizing what is left, so what is definitely in an affirmative context, and then feeding that into our classifier. So that pipeline is now running, and we'll see that it gives a slight improvement in precision on our previous brute force approach. So with just a little nuance, we've had a nice increment in accuracy for our model.